15 millions. That's the number of Thai population in Thailand who do not have access to any kind of formal financial services. Nguntit law exists to help narrow down that number to zero. So we see that in order for the company to do that, the company must strike a perfect balance between the two bottom lines of optimal profit and financial inclusion. A very good morning, esteemed judges. My name is Shichano, this is Bunapat, this is Bunchana, and Guy. We are Celsius, and today we will be here to telling Nguntit Law exactly on how they can strike that perfect balance. And here's our executive summary. But first, allow me to walk you through our analysis. 27.3% of the Thailand population are currently unbanked, excluded from the financial sector. The number is even larger if we consider those who are underbanked. So we see that Nguntit Law comes in to act as a connector for the underbanked people and the financial market. But we see that this model has also been increasingly adopted by our competitor, which means that Nguntit Law will have to find a way to deal with the competition which has intensified. So, in order to do that and maintain our market leadership, we need to understand the competitive forces out there, who are they and how strong they are. So currently we have two major competitors. First is Seaswat Power and second, Muang Thai Leasing. A comparison of product offerings revealed that Nguntit Law is currently lagging behind Seaswat Power in the product of higher purchase of motorcycle. We also see that Nguntit Law has the capabilities to do that. So in order to prevent further losses of market share, we should look into developing the same capabilities in order for us to compete with them. And now that we have understood who our competitors are and what they are doing, it is very important that we understand the key driver in this industry. So far, we have identified three key drivers of market share of firm in this industry, and those are first, number of branches, second, popularity, and third, ease of approval of loan. So far, Nguntit Law has the highest level of brand awareness and also the ease of approval, but we're still lagging behind in terms of the number of branches, which we see is a very important driver here since coverage remains very vital in capturing customers who are in need of fast cash. So we believe that Nguntit Law should proceed with this plan to open up 100 new stores this year. And we also see that after we have done this, we should also look at our second bottom line of financial inclusion. So right now, given this ambition of the company to maximize financial inclusion in Thailand, we see the company is on the right direction with its introduction of a nano finance initiative called the Wet Market Program. However, the program has failed to turn any profit in its 5 years of operation, despite its effectiveness in helping victims of loan sharks. So we see that in order for us to sustain this program, we also have to make this model viable financially as well. So we have to look at how we can increase profitability for the program. So there are two ways. First, we can increase the revenue, or second, we can reduce the cost. But from our analysis, by reducing the cost, such as reducing collection frequency or downsizing the workforce, we believe that will be counterproductive to the effectiveness of the model in helping our victims of the loan shark. So we see that the company must focus on increasing its revenue. So we see that there are two ways to increase the revenue if you look at the drivers. First, we can increase the interest rate, or second, we can increase the loan size. But we see that currently the interest rate is already capped at 36% of the legal limitation. So therefore, we are left with one last option, which is to increase our loan size. So we believe that today, Nguntit Law should focus on that. And if we successfully do this, we'll be able to become like the undisputed market leader in the industry. But to finish off this, right, to consolidate our leadership in the market, Nguntit Law should also optimize its processes in every aspect. So we see that today we should look at three key processes. We see that first, approval, second, collection, and third, back offices. We see that right now from our analysis, all the other process except for collection is already at the optimal level, but we see that our collection process is not efficient yet. This is due to a lack of expertise of the collection officer, where they don't have a specific background in a collection industry. And second, we also see that this is also reflected in the level of debt that the company incurs when compared to the other two main competitors, despite the comparable loan size that the other two has also given. Therefore, we see that in order to consolidate our leadership in today's market, Nguntit Law should also optimize its process to become the undisputed leader in every aspect. With all being said, we would like to introduce you to our executive summary. Today, Nguyen Thit Lor is a leader in the market whose position is being actively undermined. So by the end of this presentation, we would like to help them pave their way to become the undisputed leader in the Thailand underbanked segment once again by addressing 3 key questions. First, how to tighten our leadership. Second, how to explore untapped opportunities. And third, how to optimize its business processes. We can do that through our 3-pronged strategies of ensure, enter, and enhance.
Thank you, Chichano. Moving on to the first strategy of ensuring. After we have done a leakage assessment, it reveals that there are 3 reasons inhibiting customers from being fully returned. The first is lack of coverage, preventing customers from accessing to financial institutions. Secondly, it is because our existing product line do not capture the entire needs of customers, especially in the motorcycle industry, which is growing, according to Ministry of Transport, around 1.7 million of motorcycles is being newly listed annually. And the third is for the brand confusion issue. So we believe that we could prevent this leakage through three ensure strategy. The first is a well-managed brand expansion. Secondly, is through launching comprehensive product lines. And third, applying marketing campaign. Let's move on to how we expand our branches. Notwithstanding our market share in this industry, we still lag behind others in terms of branches. So let's see what criteria are we selecting for those locations that we are heading to. The first is the number of cars. Since our main product portfolios deals with most of automobiles and vehicles, a high number of cars will be the first assurance that there will be potential customers in the region. Secondly, the level of indebtedness. According to Bank of Thailand report, Northeastern region has the highest level of indebtedness per household. This will be reflected as the economic structure of each region, which govern how they earn and spend. Thirdly, income per regions of Northeastern region is around 15,000 to 26,000. But it is concentration around 15,000 is the lowest bound. And according to the same report, Bank of Thailand report also states that Northeastern region has the least financial literacy. So if NTL enter into these locations, it would act as a financial service provider and could educate the customers to reduce customers' vulnerability as their mission statement has stated. Now that we have ensured our coverage, we must assure our customers of comprehensive product lines. Our suggestion is that NTL should propose the hire purchase business of motorcycles. It is because motorcycles are necessary possessions of every household in rural region. And according to Ministry of Transport, around 1.7 million of bikes are newly listed in years. Currently in the market, there is Bank of Ayutthaya product offering high purchase, which aim at different target customers of middle to high income. Therefore, we are proposing a high purchase for low income customers with fast and convenient services, but that comes with a risk. If there is no proof of income or no document from those customers, we account for those risks by increasing the down payment to 20 to 25% above the industry average. Now that we have ensured our coverage and our comprehensive offering, we must assure our customers of going into the right store. Here are our marketing alternatives. We believe that we could establish a mascots to familiarize customers with our brand. Secondly, we should continue advertising by adding humorous element and emphasize the customer at the end of advertisement not to go into the wrong stores. The thirdly is to differentiate our appearance through catchy, eye-catching designs. Now please, let's move on to the second strategy.
Now that we have tightened our foothold of our leadership position, we must now look to new opportunities to enter in order to extend our lead even further. And we will do this through our second strategy, enter. We have identified 2 main under-penetrated customer segments in which NTL still has limited or no presence in. The first one is the low-income customer, considered the unbanked, and they have no access to financial products due to lack of assets. The second group of customers are the middle-income customers, considered the underbanked. These people have limited access to financial products due to either not having time to access bank branches or not having a credit history. Therefore, we will be doing 2 specific things. Firstly, for this customer group, we will introduce a new product, and for the middle-income customers, we will be extending our nano finance program. But first, let's take a look at which type of product would be best for NTL to either introduce or further penetrate into, choosing between insurance, savings, and transactions products. We have evaluated this on the following criteria. First is how favorable the competitive landscape is, judging from the level of existing competition. Secondly is how likely it is that the product will be used by our customers, judging from customer analysis. The third one is how simple and how much value the product would add to the customer's lives. And lastly, it refers to NTL's ability to provide unique and differentiated products to the customers. From this, we can see that insurance represents the most promising products, specifically life insurance, as NTL does not currently offer life insurance. However, it can also be seen that savings are also an attractive choice due to the money-saving behaviors of low-income customers in the form of mattress money. This leads us to the implication that there is a significant opportunity that lies within integrating a savings component with a microinsurance product. Let's take a look into this further and see why NTL should introduce savings-linked insurance, which is a insurance product in which the periodic contributions are able to earn a small amount of interest. This product combines the benefit of both products while overcoming the limitations of each. For insurance products, the underbanked are often reluctant to invest in insurance due to the lack of concrete benefits. And on the other hand, NTL are currently not allowed to accept deposits because of their status as a non-bank financial institution. Therefore, introducing this product will be able to address both of these issues. This model has been based off of successful case studies in India. Low-income customers are more likely to use this product due to the concrete benefits offered in the form of savings that accumulate in value over time until the maturity date if they are still surviving. And this would also help to promote financial inclusion in the area. However, since NTL currently does not have expertise in producing its own insurance products, it should therefore work with its parent company, Bank of Ayutthaya, in order to leverage on their capabilities. And this relationship with our parent company is another advantage that we have over our competitors. This product would allow NTL to enter into the microinsurance segment while also venturing into savings in line with its values of becoming a one-stop shop for financial services. Secondly, to address our second target customer group, the middle-income customers, we will do this through our nano financing program. Firstly, by extending our current wet market program. We aim to attract more customers per trip by helping our potential customers visualize their debt obligations and see exactly how NTL can help them restructure their loan through the use of tablets. This would encourage them to become our potential customers and increase the revenue. We also aim to expand our program to more locations, focusing expansion on establishing success stories in the main wet markets of each district in order to encourage word-of-mouth marketing. Secondly, we also want to introduce a new program called the Off the Hook program, which involves the extension of uncollateralized loans to not only micro-entrepreneurs. We will target those who are wishing to end their debt obligation with loan sharks. And however, we will focus on targeting those with a stable base salary to ensure that they will be able to repay us the loan. And this will appeal to the customers because we are offering them a way out of the cycle of debt through lower interest rates as well as added financial planning services. Through this strategy, we believe that NTL can effectively reach these two new customer segments, and this would accelerate them way in advance of their competitors. Now let's move on to our third strategy, enhance.
Okay, so far we have been discussing about how to tighten leadership, secure it, and how to plan for the untapped target market. And for the third strategy, we will be elaborating more about optimizing all of our processes and hence. Okay, first of all, currently NTL's debt, according to our research, is approximately 2.5 or 16 times higher than that of SOAT and MTL, which are the main competitors of NTL currently. And also due to our staff's lack of ample background knowledge, debt collection is actually being hard to be made. And we must so we came to a conclusion that we must optimize our collection process in order to secure our repayment and realize more return. Okay, we NTL could either outsource the process of collecting the debt or acquire a collection company. And we actually thought that it's a better strategy to outsource the company since although that it has a disadvantage of the fact that a totally separate company from and out of NTL can act distinctively from our own system, it can also give us much more opportunities as well. First of all, outsourcing can also they can guarantee the expertise and draw the workload off NTL and also comparably price efficient compared to acquiring a collection company. Collection period. Okay, so even after the outsourcing the company is implemented, NTL will still have to enhance its activity on collecting the debt during this period of the time, which is 1 to 75 days after the overdue of the payment, since we will still be taking care of the customers and follow up to their debts. But then after the 75 days, which is about 15 days before the unpaid debt is turned into an NPL, our established collection company outsourced firm will take cover of the customers and follow up with the strategies that they need. Okay, so with the bountiful resources that is freed up after outsourcing a firm, we can use our resources usefully into the maximum potential by financial planning to our staffs and financial advisory to the customers, and also follow up with the customers who are also in need of additional education and help. For financial planning training, currently it is stated that our current staff is in need of additional background knowledge, and it is important, very essential for each of them to know each specific details of our strength and product. So since they know that we believe that the knowledge will eventually flow naturally to the consumers, and financial advisory is financial education to the customers, in which that the customers will gain knowledge about accounting, savings, and budgeting, which will eventually improve their lives and make informed financial decisions. And also following up the progress of the planning for those who have trouble is because they will be gaining brand loyalty and also grab our own customers as well.
Moving on to the financial implementations, we believe that by next Monday, NTL must be able to set up the correct preparations for branch expansion and conducting the correct KPI of constructive loan growth. Let's move on to the financial planning. I will be glad to answer the assumptions during the Q&A, but with our strategies, NTL could increase the revenue by our expected horizon of 4 years to 5.8 billion of revenues. Here are our operational expense and capital expenditures assumptions, and we believe that with our optimizations of processes and well-managed bad debt collections, the NTL could achieve a CAGR of 45% of net income. Here are our presentations. The floor is open for Q&A session. Thank you very much.
We will now proceed to the Q&A session. Judges, you may ask the questions now.
Okay. Did you guys did very well in terms of derive the internal analysis on the situation of the NTL currently facing? I have questions about the strategy of brand opening that you think that we should focus in the northeastern Thailand, right?
Yes.
So, is that fourth factor in that's the most critical factor that you consider as the criteria that you choose how to open? I think about the economy in each region and the footprint of our competitor in each region, as well as basically, as you know, that our competitor outnumber in terms of branch distributions. So, do you tell me more about that?
For after competitors analysis in Muay Thai leasing, it is highly concentrated in eastern regions and central regions. But for Sawat, it is concentrated in the northern regions. The reasons why we have decided to expand into this region, as I have mentioned before, it is the high number of cars, which means that there will be first assurance that there will be potential customers for sure. And secondly, the level of indebtedness. This shows the economic structures of northeastern regions. It's governed the way they spend and they earn. And also what I would like to address is that most of the occupations occurred in these regions are farmers and those fishermen. And the income is quite cyclical. That means they require more debts to support their work, support their families. And that is the second criteria. And income by region, 15,000 to 26,000. It looks like a huge range, but as our analysis has shown, the concentrations is around 15,000. But the most critical, important criteria, I believe that it is at least financial literacy, according to the Bank of Thailand report. This will be the contribution from NTL, as your mission statement is to reduce customers' vulnerabilities and increase the financial inclusion. So I believe that these four criteria is strong enough for NTL to expand into this region.
Okay, thank you.
So the level of indebtedness also means the level of risk for NTL?
The level of indebtedness per household, actually in any regions, the higher the debt, there will be more risk. But as I have mentioned, that we will also optimize our process through outsourcing collection company from reduction of bad debts from around 2.6% compared to Muay Thai leasing of 0.1% and Sawat of 0.7%. We believe that we could achieve a bad debt reduction to around 1% of industry average.
Did you study why Muay Thai is performing better in terms of bad debt?
I believe that Muay Thai leasing has a better well-managed collection department. But apart from that, the total loan size is actually around 20,000 billions in this current years, and this is comparable to our loan size. And also for Sawat, the loan size is around 11,000 baht. 11,000 billions per baht, and the loan size is comparable. So I assume that it is because the collection company in NTL is not that well managed, so that we cannot compete in terms of bad debt collections.
And to add on to my colleague, Muay Thai leasing is also offering a lower interest rate, which will also lead to a lower chance of people defaulting on their debt. So, but also at the same time, Muay Thai leasing offering low interest rate, also at the expense of the value-added product and services that Nguyen Dit Loy is able to offer to customers.
Can you go to the page where you compare yourself with your competitors? I think it's in the early page. Okay, so who are the strongest player in the, say, the auto and the motorcycle loans? So let's say in the motorcycle title loan, which one is the strongest player?
In the motorcycle title loan, the strongest player is Muay Thai leasing.
What about the auto loan?
For the auto loan, we are the strongest player here.
Okay, so does that also lead to maybe is also the factor that lead to the difference in the default rate?
We believe that is also one of the factors leading to a high level of bad debt, since when we're talking about auto title loan, the amount of loan will be larger, therefore the amount of bad debt, if it ever incurred, will be also larger proportionally.
And we are still focusing on auto loan, right?
But we're also focusing on auto loan because first, at the same time, that's the product at our core level, that's the product that we appeal to the customer the most, because that's the product that our customers are having the most difficult time getting loan from like formal financial institutions. So that's why we have to focus on this product. And also we incur like a higher risk of incurring bad debt, but the auto title loan business is also the one that's driving most of the revenue for our company. So we see that we have to still focus on the auto title loan, although we may still incur higher bad debt. So that's why in our third strategy, we would like to address to optimize our collection process to further drive down that level of bad debt so that we can focus on increasing and driving the other revenue sources.
How much of the percentage you want to diversify with your business?
I beg your pardon.
I mean, if you want to enter into a new business, how much of the percentage of the mix in your portfolio to enter into a new business comparing to the existing one?
Okay.
Do you
So-
plan on that, and why you think that would be the number?
Okay. So according to my product portfolio analysis, insurance and non-interest income is around 20% of the whole revenue. 80% come from loans, and these loans will be separated into auto title loans, high purchase, and nano finance. We estimated that around 77% of those 80% will come from auto title loans, which are the main revenue drivers. And those 3% come from our new high purchase business, our nano finance, and other businesses. So as I have mentioned before, auto title loans will still become our main revenue drivers. But after this 2017, we believe that nano finance could play a role in our revenue driver since the government is highly supporting this industry and it is growing at a rate of 120% according to banks' reports.
Okay. About the presentation on the nano finance, like you, so do you recommend to improve the costs and reduce the frequency of the collection? You get to the red market. Yeah. I'm afraid that that would drive a higher delinquency of the portfolio as the behavior of the customer. They usually don't have the well disciplined in terms of saving or manage their cash. So how would you address that problem in terms of like delinquency that happen that driven by the longer interval of collection?
Personally, that our presentation may have confused you, but in our message we are addressing that we should not reduce any cost because we believe that will reduce the effectiveness as you have mentioned. So that's why we only focus on increasing the revenue without reducing further cost, because we are also taking into account the concern that you have mentioned to us.
And to address the delinquency issues of your questions, it is because when we approach wet market, when we approach with nano finance program, we will definitely do a thorough appraisals of serving those micro entrepreneurs and assessing those risks. And at the same time, as our colleagues have mentioned, there will be an iPad or tools that will visualize them. And at the same time, we will input them the financial education. It is because our analysis came out that those micro entrepreneurs are short-sighted. They only think about the tomorrow, what amount of they should pay, but they are not looking forward. So as our NTL and relationship officers, we believe that we could input financial education, strongly input financial planning for them, and change their financial discipline eventually.
And to further add on to that, in conclusion, we are not reducing the frequency of collection period, but we're also trying to make sure that our relation officer will also be able to attract more customers per trip and also collect more debt per trip as well without reducing the collection frequency or downsizing the workforce.
Can you repeat the existing strategy for collection again? What you say is you have bill collector to actually go into every customer and pick up money or something like that. Is that right?
For nano finance program.
Yeah. For this one that you want to change, that the 90 DVD you want to outsource this. So what is your current strategy? Can you explain again?
For the outsourcing collection company. For the outsourcing of collection company, we will mainly focus on the bad debts that exceed NPL. So those bad debts, as incurred in the financial statement, is already treated as expenses. And the model of collection company is that we will pay commissions fees for every bad debts they are collected of around 30%. This is industry average, 25% to 40%. So if they collect one bad debts, they will get 30% commission. And those 70% will become our revenue instead, because we have already cut it as bad debt, and if we can collect it, it will become our revenue.
So to address your question was what's our existing strategy, right? So right now we hire our own collection officers, which they will be tasked with collecting the debt from a customer. But we also see that from our research, collection officers are recruited on website without checking any specific background in working in this collection industry before. So we see that most of the time they will tend to be like less efficient than the collector that sees what power and mental raising employ. So we suggest that for the first 75 days when like the risk of debt turning to NPL is not that high, we can still use our collection officer so not to incur like higher costs. But when it reaches 75 days, when there's a high risk of becoming NPL, we can outsource that collection business to another company to do it for us because they are more efficient. And we also see that any amount recovered from that collection will also be incremental revenue for the company, since the cost of outsourcing to this company will only be a percentage of the amount recovered. So that's why we believe that at the end of the day, even if we outsource this activity to another company, we'll also achieve incremental revenue without incurring any higher costs.
And to add on to my colleague, in Thailand, an example of collection company is ACA and AAA company. These are highly specialized in bad debt collections company.
They do nationwide network. They have nationwide network.
Yes, they have nationwide network according to my internet research.
And once you implement it, how do you measure whether your collection outsources is better than in-house?
So the first assessment of us is to look at the percentage of bad debt, whether it reduced to the 1% as I have mentioned before. Because currently we are incurring 2.6% of bad debt, and comparing to others it's 0.7 and 0.1%. We believe that a threshold of 1% would be a good performance report for outsourcing bad debt collections.
We also see a trend among financial institutions to start outsourcing the collection activity to other companies that are especially specialized in collection because their own resources are not capable enough to do collection. So that's why we see a trend, and that we should also capitalize on the trend as well.
How are you going to manage the reputation in terms of collection activity? In terms of reputation risk that you mentioned?
Right, we have also taken that into account as well. So we believe that is the reason why we want to start outsourcing the activity after 75 days, because we really want to focus on the case that we have a very high risk of that turning to NPL. But even that, when we outsource to the company, we'll also have to make sure that there will be no reputational risk. We'll also have to monitor their processes just to make sure there won't be any damage to our reputation like that has been damaged to our competitor. Because so far, the reputation in collection for our company is very positive. So we believe that even if we outsource this to another company, we can still monitor that process and make sure that our reputation will still remain intact.
Let me get back to the new product that you would like to suggest us to do is the insurance product. Could you paint us more color about the go-to-market strategy, and what is your implementation strategy that you would recommend?
The implementation for this microinsurance product.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your question. So in terms of product details, this product will be integrated within our one of our products. So it will be offered to customers when they when they enter into one of our branches, and we believe that we can advertise this product through traditional advertising, which would be effective enough in order to target new customers, as the value proposition of the product is already in itself very appealing. And as I mentioned, because it integrates both features of insurance and savings component, it really marks their entry into the financial sector.
And to add on to my colleague, the product that we are offering won't be competing directly with life insurance company. What we're offering is at a micro level to help the people of low income to alleviate the shock that happened to their family when one of the important member of their family dies unexpectedly. So we believe that the amount that we cover under this policy won't be that high. So we believe that the premium should be able to cover the death benefit that we offer to the customer, and we can also control that the death rate won't be high by limiting the age of policyholder from 20 years old to 50 years old, which means that they will have a lesser chance of dying during this period of time. And we also let the people to choose the amount that they want to be covered, and that will translate into the premium that they will have to pay. So at the end of the day, we believe that we can ensure that under this model, although we cannot achieve that significant level of increase in profitability, but we also see that since our objective is to maximize financial inclusion, we believe that any incremental profit, as long as it doesn't incur any further losses, should be justified because it is for financial costs as well as social costs. Thank you very much.